The Son Who Stayed. My name is Aaron, and I am an old man now, living a quiet, gentle life. Most days I sit in my chair by the window and let the memories visit me. There is one memory that never fades, no matter how many years pass me by. It is the story of how I almost lost my father, and how I won him back. Many years ago, when I was still young, my mother had just passed away. Our family was like a small boat caught in a terrible storm, shaking without direction. My mother had been our anchor, steady, loving, and strong, and without her, we were lost. I was sad, but my father, Morgan, was completely broken. He loved my mother deeply. He was once a good man, kind, warm, and full of laughter and quiet strength. But after her death, something inside him disappeared. He became a ghost inside his own home. He did not speak. He barely ate. He sat in silence from morning until night. I was frightened for him. I tried to talk, to help, to remind him of life. But nothing I did could bring him back. It was as if he lived in shadows. And then one day, she came into our lives. Her name was Clara. She was young, much younger than my father, with a bright smile and a sweet voice. He met her at a small cafe. She was like sunlight breaking into his dark world. He fell in love with her too fast, far too fast, before his heart had healed. I wanted to be happy for him. I wanted him to find peace again. For a little while he smiled. He laughed. He began to live again. But something in me felt uneasy. Her smile was lovely, but it never reached her eyes. Her voice was kind, but her words felt hollow, like they were hiding something untrue. Clara didn't love my father's soul. She loved his wealth, his comfort, his easy trust. He was a rich man, with a successful business and a generous, open heart. She spent his money freely. New clothes, jewelry, a shining car that she drove proudly. And he gave her everything with a smile, saying, "She makes me feel young again." But Clara was doing more than spending. She was building walls around him, brick by brick. She whispered lies about his old friends. She told him Samuel had spoken cruelly about him. It wasn't true. Samuel was loyal, the kind of friend who never turned away. But my father believed her. He stopped calling his friends. He stopped seeing his brothers. One by one she erased them all, until only she was left in his quiet world. And then she turned her lies toward me. She told him I was jealous, that I didn't want him to be happy again. "She's poisoned your heart," I wanted to say. "She's isolating you from everyone who loves you." One evening I gathered my courage and spoke softly. "Dad, she's using you. Please, open your eyes." He looked at me, hurt and angry, like I had insulted the only joy he had left. He said, "Aaron, you're young. You don't understand. Clara saved me from my grief, but she hadn't saved him. She had taken his loneliness and made it her home. Each day, she made him weaker, more dependent, more distant from the people who truly loved him. And I watched my father, once so strong, become a stranger, sitting behind invisible walls. My father's face turned dark with anger, his voice rising like thunder, shaking the quiet room. He stood up suddenly, his eyes burning with hurt and disbelief, and shouted words I'll never forget. "You're the jealous one," he said. "You can't stand to see me happy, not even for a moment." Then he pointed his finger at me, his voice cutting through the air like a blade of fire. "Jessica is right about you," he roared. "You are not my son anymore. Get out!" I tried to explain, my words trembling, but he wouldn't listen. His heart was closed to me. That day I walked out of his house with tears falling like rain down my face. I had already lost my mother. Now it felt like I had lost my father too. Jessica had complete control of his life now. Every word he heard came through her lips. He was a prisoner in a golden cage, rich in things, but poor in freedom. He had money, comfort, and luxury, but no family, no friends, no real warmth around him anymore. I watched from a distance, helpless, wishing he could see the truth behind her gentle lies. Many nights, I couldn't sleep. I kept asking myself what a son should do in pain like this, but deep inside, I knew I couldn't give up. I had to try one last time. Even if it broke me, I had to bring my father back before she destroyed him completely. So I made a plan. Not a clever one, just a desperate act of love and hope. I picked up my phone and started calling the people who once stood beside him like brothers. I called Robert, his oldest friend. I called both of my uncles. I called his business partners, too. Men who shared his laughter, who stood with him through storms, who knew the truth of his heart. I told them everything. About Jessica, about the lies, about how my father was trapped and alone. They listened in silence, and when I finished, every one of them said the same thing. "We'll help." That Sunday, we gathered. 7 of us standing together again, ready to fight for the man we loved. We drove to his house. My hands shook on the steering wheel, my heart beating like a drum. I kept thinking, what if he refuses to see me? What if this is the end forever? But still, I went. Because sometimes love is not about winning. It's about not walking away. We reached his house and rang the bell. Jessica opened the door and froze in disbelief. Her sweet mask cracked. She tried to close the door, but we were 7, and we didn't stop. We stepped inside. My father sat in his chair, looking up, his face hard as stone. He saw me first, then Robert, then his brothers, then the men who were once his family. His eyes moved slowly across their faces, and something inside him seemed to break open again. Those were not faces of enemies. They were faces of love, of loyalty, of a lifetime shared. And for the first time in a long time, I saw confusion, not anger, in my father's eyes. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more.